A new era has dawned on the University of Fort Hare.
To honor our past and to craft a bright
A new era has dawned on the University of Fort Hare.
to honor our past and to craft a bright future, we have committed to a decade of renewal.
We continue to build the bright future on century-old foundations.
Strong governance, a brand new university council, and a compelling future vision.
But our real celebration is over our new infrastructure. In 2 years, we built and completed the largest student housing development project in South Africa.
An improved and dignified campus life experience is no longer a dream,
but a reality for students of University of Fort Hare.
These are spaces for our students to live and learn with dignity, where diversity and difference are celebrated.
The journey was not only ours. We want to thank our partners, the Department of Higher Education and Training, the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and the European Union.
Thank you to my colleagues and the University of Fort Hare project team for steering this project through calm and turbulent waters.
And there's a message from students from all our faculty.
Thank you.
Dangi.
Siyabulela.
Tatenda.
We are moving forward in our decade of renewal, together in excellence.
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 A new era has dawned on the University of Fort Hare.
thank you as well for joining us in this very special graduation ceremony, where we are doing a one-of-a-kind type of gathering, where we will be conferring degrees to our esteemed South Africans as well as to our graduates, our PhDs. So really this will be different. Your ceremony is quite different. May I just make a couple of housekeeping announcements so that we can be able to have a very nice free-flowing engagement this morning. Please may I ask that you switch off your mobile device so that the program is not in any way interrupted. Secondly, may I ask that as we know where we are in terms of COVID, that you try please to observe all COVID-19 protocols and restrictions in terms of social distancing, sanitizing where necessary and where appropriate, as well as the usage of masks at all times. I am Leletu Eshula and I will be your program director. Without further ado, I would like to ask our Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Sakela Buhlungu, to come forward and to make some opening remarks for us.
Good. Thank you very much, Program Director, Dr. Eshula. Mr. Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellors of the University, Professor Vital, Professor Dr. Van Heerden, who is on his way, the Registrar, Mr. Zuma, the CFO of the University, Mr. Matumba, Deans of Faculties, Dean of Research, Dean of Students, Deputy Deans, Heads of Academic Departments, all academic staff, administrative and support services staff, the SRC, students of the university, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you today to a very special ceremony. I repeat, a very special ceremony. This is the third virtual graduation that we're doing. First one in May last year, the other one in December, and this is the third one. But this one is special because it's hybrid. We hear real time, but also the bulk of our graduates are not on site. And again, I would like to thank the planning team for this idea, where we decided to bring our doctoral graduates on site, all 28 of them. And I think we should, just for that, give them a round of applause. This shows a remarkable level of planning, of learning, of being in touch, but also of our ability to work around COVID-19, of our ability not to let COVID-19 bring us down. And once again, it's a very special ceremony and special occasion. Today, we're going to be awarding degrees to more than 3,000 students and 28 doctoral candidates. That's a remarkable thing. It is a remarkable thing because even with COVID, even with disruptions at various stages, we've come this far and we've pulled through. And once again, to us, to the students, to the HODs, to the supervisors, to the lecturers, to all staff of the university, support services, administration, and of course to all our students. This is a remarkable achievement. it is a remarkable achievement. It speaks of resilience on our part. It speaks of commitment by staff. It means determination by our students to succeed and not let the pandemic put them down. Also, none of this would have been achieved had it not been for teamwork. And I'm talking about teamwork at different stages, at different parts of the institution, and teamwork all around, that everyone played their part. Everyone became a team player. COVID-19 did not and has not dampened the determination of our students and staff to excel. We've had many achievements. The first one was our ability to complete academic year 2020. We ended it in February this year. There was a time when many people thought it's going to be difficult, Forte won't make it. But of course, through the teamwork, through the team effort, and through working together and patience, we managed to complete the year. In fact, there may have been a time when we were supposedly in danger of not completing the year, together with 4 other institutions. It was very public. The minister spoke about that. But here we are. We completed it. In fact, we completed ahead of some of the institutions that were supposedly not in danger. In all this time, our students have achieved many things. And you will see on the graduation program that many of our students have excelled despite all of this. The number of distinctions, cum laudes, that have been achieved speaks of that. But also, the number through the year, last year and this year, the number of accolades and achievements and awards won by our researchers and academics, again, speak to this determination to excel. Also, I just want to say something very special about today's graduation ceremony. Once again, it's a pity it's not going to be on site. Today, we're going to be awarding honorary doctorates to 3 distinguished South Africans, very special people, 3 of them. Straight after this, we'll start with those 3 distinguished citizens. The first one is Justice Mandisa Maya, the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. She'll be honored with an LLD. When the time comes up, the full bio sketch of Justice Maya will be read out for us to witness the excellence that she represents and the excellence that she brings as she becomes one of our alumni. The second person, special person, who will be awarded is Ms. Cindy Wemakona. Cindy Wemakona is a world-renowned author of many genres, including children's books, children's stories, some of which have been dramatized for television and radio. She may be known to many of you. And as I speak of these 2, I could not resist the temptation. I suppose I can't resist the temptation to say both of them. And please don't repeat this anywhere. Both of them come from my own birth town. They are my homegirls. And that has nothing to do with anything. So don't repeat it here. Anyway, I'm very proud of these 2. The third one, Another very special person that we're honoring today is Justice Dikgang Moseneke, former Deputy Chief Justice, or should I say retired Deputy Chief Justice. Once again, an eminent kind of person in this country. And as you will hear when the citation is being read, Justice Moseneke spent time as a child, was imprisoned as a child, and came of age in prison, and used that time to do his studies. And I imagine that had he not been arrested and jailed, he probably would have come to study at Fort Hare. I don't know. I've never asked him that question, but I suspect he would have been one of the many students during that time who came and enrolled at this great university of ours. I also, as I move on, want to welcome new staff. It's a little bit late in the year to do that, but we've been joined by new staff from the beginning of the year, from January. Staff at all different levels of the institution, from the lowest to the highest. They've joined the university. Once again, I wish to welcome them and also commend them for making a good decision. A good decision. I also want to welcome senior staff, and some of you would have seen the notices come up. And because we're not going to have another ceremony where I'll welcome them, I specifically want to welcome the ones that have joined us recently. Dr. Oscar van Heerden has been appointed from the 1st of this month, June, as Deputy Vice Chancellor, Institutional Support. He's on his way here. He should be able to join us during the course of this ceremony. We also being joined by Dr. Ntabiseng Taule for the newly created position of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Partnership and Innovation. She joins us on the 1st of July. Should be next week or in the next week. We're also being joined by Professor Neil Roos as the Dean of Social Science and Humanities from the 1st of July. We're also joined by Mr. Lufuno Chigundo as the Dean Student Affairs from the 1st of July. And then later in the year, or rather early 1st of January next year, we're going to be joined by Professor Mzigazi Nduna as Dean of Health Sciences. And we'll continue making more of these appointments and announce them as we go. I also, at this point, also want to pay a special tribute to one of our deans who served this institution with distinction and commitment and courage, and that is Dr. Ndombovuyo Wai, for whom this is the last graduation ceremony at the university, and who is serving notice and will be leaving the university at the end of this month to take up a senior appointment at another institution in the country. It is a loss for us, it's a gain for the other institution, and I know she will come back to this institution. I have no doubt whatsoever. I have no doubt whatsoever. I can also reveal, now that she's leaving, that she also comes from that town, which is my birth town. Again, that's got nothing to do with anything. And don't repeat it outside of this meeting, of this ceremony. Once again, thanks to Dr. Wai for her service and for her dedication to her work. I could mention many, many others. These we'll share as we go along. As I conclude, I want to make a couple of remarks about where we are at as an institution. And therefore, would like us to understand this ceremony and the achievements that we're going to be notching up today as part of that thrust. That from 2020, we've turned the corner. We've turned the corner, and we've decided to make this 2020-2030 the decade of renewal, where we're going to change for real, where shortcuts are no longer acceptable, where mischief is no longer tolerated, where none of these other things are tolerated. We have a new council, which was inaugurated in December, 1st of December last year, appointed for a 5-year term. And it's very clear, and that council has now had 2 meetings, if I'm not mistaken, and it's very clear that we are well on our way towards good governance. We have, as I said, new senior appointments, once again to cover all the bases. But very importantly, we've decided to prioritize research, partnerships, and innovation, and hence we created a new position, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Partnerships, and Innovation. It means we're upping the game. We're upping the game in terms of the production of graduates at the postgraduate level, at the senior postgraduate levels, master's and doctoral degrees. We're upping the game in terms of our research productivity. We're upping the game in terms of partnerships that translate into even more and better things. We're upping the game in terms of innovation. We've also decided now that we're going to up the game when it comes to our administration, such that the mediocrity and the sloppiness and the incompetence that can be found in some places is going to be something of the past. We're also making sure that our finances are in good shape. And indeed, I can say now, our finances are in good shape. You're not going to see us going cap in hand to beg for money. We're not going to have a situation where staff go unpaid. We're never going to get there. We're never going to get into a situation where things are not done because there's no money. That also means the renewal is going to have to say something about infrastructure. You will see, little by little, some of the changes in terms of infrastructure. And I'm not just talking about big projects such as the student residence one in Alice, but in terms of small things. Last week I was in Bishop. I was pleasantly surprised to see some of those changes, some of them small, but very significant. And we're going to carry that through to all the 3 campuses. We're also going to make sure that the academic enterprise, this renewal, we completed a review of the entire program. We saw areas of duplication, areas of overlap, and we're doing something about it. And we've now moved to the Department of Higher Education to allow us to then introduce new programs. Veterinary science has always been one of our programs that we want, and we're going to have it. We want to have those, and several others that I won't get into. As I say, research is an area that we also, as we renew, that we're prioritizing, partnerships, and many other areas. And so, at this winter graduation, I feel that we are in a much better place, that you, the graduates, as you depart from the institution, you're leaving the institution in a relatively healthy, rather, should I say, in a healthy state. That you can go out there, go into the world, and be proud of the institution that has brought you where you are. And just to say, because we've got the PhDs here that go there and fly the University of Fort Hare flag very high. Don't disappoint us. Be ambassadors of this great institution. Defend the institution, not individuals. Not individuals. Defend the good name of the institution. Stand for the good name of the institution. Once again, I repeat, don't defend individuals. They'll look after themselves. Defend this great institution. This year, we are 105 years old. We're going to be forging ahead to another 100 years. And as we do so, please represent us. Please be good ambassadors. And of course, if there are opportunities that you want to bring to this university for our students and for the greater institution, please let us to them. And as I say so, therefore, all the best to you. And I know we took this, but I would like us all to kind of give you and the rest of the graduates today a big, big round of applause. You are even free to stand and congratulate yourself if you have the energy to do so. It's still morning time. Let's give them a big one. Thank you very much.
By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the University of Fort Hare, I advocate Dumisan Tsebeza SC on this, the 21st day of June 2021, hereby constitute the congregation for the purpose of awarding qualifications.
Thank you very much to our technical team, and thank you to the Vice-Chancellor. I think the take-home message is that we need to go to this particular town and get some of the water from there so that we can also be well achieved. Thank you very much, VC. This gathering really is a celebration of the achievement of academic excellence and the pinnacle of the academic program at the University of Fort Hare. So it's a celebration that we are here at this morning, as the Vice-Chancellor has so well put it. And now that we have been welcomed, and now that we have been legally constituted by our Chancellor, Advocate Dumisan Tsebeza, SC, I would like to then ask that we feel free, and I'm going to request that our choir, the Fort Hare choir, the choir that other choirs fear, that they give us a song and that we get comfortable and we get relaxed as we continue with our program. Over to you, Fort Hare choir.
Oh,
Thank you very much to the Forte Choir for that rendition. You know, when we are, I suppose, with the PhD graduates that we have, you know, they have to be very dignified. Even if you are celebrating, I know because you're wearing these red robes, the dancing is all internal. You know, there's nothing external because you are dignified as PhDs. That also is also in order. Thank you, Forte Choir. We are now, with the help of our technical team, going to ask the Chancellor. Will now hand over to the Vice Chancellor, who will proceed with the conferring of honorary degrees, and the awarding of diplomas and certificates to our esteemed South Africans.
I am now handing over to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sakela Buhlungu, to proceed with the conferring of honorary doctoral qualifications, degree qualifications, and the awarding of diplomas and certificates.
I would like to invite Dr. N. Lubisi, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, to come forward and present the first honorary doctoral candidate to be awarded in absentia.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you in absentia Mandisa Muriel Lindelwa Maya as the Doctor of Laws, honoris causa recipient. The Supreme Court of Appeal of South Africa. She holds BProc, University of Transkei, LLB, University of Natal, Durban, and LLM, Duke University, USA, degrees, and 2 LLD honoris causa degrees, awarded by Nelson Mandela University and Walter Sisulu University. In recognition of her contribution to the development of women, jurisprudence in South Africa, as well as empowerment of women in the legal profession and the judiciary. She is a Fulbright, Georgetown University Law and Gender Program, and Commonwealth Foundation Fellow, and is a recipient of 2020 Duke University Law International Law Alumnus Award. After teaching law at the former University of Transkei, while also practicing at the Transkei Society of Advocates, she became a judge and sat in various divisions of the High Court and Labor Courts before her elevation to the Supreme Court of Appeal. She became the first Women Deputy President of the SCA in 2015, and its first woman president in 2017. She has acted as a judge in the Constitutional Court of South Africa, the Supreme Court of Namibia, and the Appeal Court of Lesotho. She promoted law reform as a chairperson of the South African Law Reform Commission and is a member of the South African Judicial Service Commission, the South African Judicial Education Institute, the Commonwealth Association of Law Reform Agencies, the National Bar Examination Board, and the Duke University Bosch Judicial Institute Leadership Council. She is the president of the South African chapter of the Women Judges Association and the African Region Director of the International Association of Women Judges. She also sits in a number of other quasi-judicial and academic organizations. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Laws on Mandisa Muriel Lindelwa Maya in absentia.
I hereby confer the degree. I'd like to invite Professor F. Nekweva, the Acting Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, to come forward and present the second honorary doctoral candidate to be awarded in absentia.
I am representing Professor Nekweva, Vice Chancellor. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you in absentia Cindy-Way Magona as the Doctor of Philosophy in Languages and Literature, Honorary Chancellor, recipient. I'll now read her citation. Cindy-Way Magona is a graduate of Columbia University and has been awarded 3 honorary degrees before relocating to Cape Town, and the founder of Google Writers Group, which she runs on a voluntary basis to encourage women who might not otherwise write their stories. She spent 25 years in New York, working for the United Nations in the anti-apartheid radio programs until June 1994. And in the United Nations Film Archives until her retirement from the organization at the end of 2003. Cindy-Way Magona writes in both English and isiXhosa and translates for various media, including film. She has authored over 120 children's books, 4 stage plays, 2 books of short stories, works of autobiography and biography, novels, radio plays, and a screenplay. Her published works for adults include 2 autobiographical books, To My Children's Children and Forced to Grow, 2 collections of short stories, Living, Loving, and Lying Awake at Night, and Push, and Other Stories, 3 novels, Mother to Mother, Beauty's Gift, and in 2015, Chasing the Tails of My Father's Cattle. In 2020, Dr. Magona released Theatre Road, the biography of Thembi Nshali Jones, co-authored with Shirley Jones. In 2021, she released When the Village Sleeps. Several of Dr. Magona's short stories, essays, and poems have been anthologized. Dr. Magona is currently the writer in-house or in residence at the University of the Western Cape in Cape Town, South Africa, and has recently completed her PhD. She's also a recipient of several awards and a doctorate from the Nelson Mandela University. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Languages and Literature on Sindiwe Magona in abstention.
I hereby confer the degree. I would like to invite Dr. N. Lubisi, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, to come forward and present the third honorary doctoral candidate to be awarded in absentia.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you in absentia Dikgang Moseneke as the Doctor of Laws, honoris causa recipient. Dikgang Moseneke was born in December 1947. During March 1963, at the age of 15 years, and whilst in Standard 8, now grade 10, he was arrested, detained, and convicted for participating in political activities opposed to the apartheid regime. Moseneke was sentenced...
Chancellor, Advocate Dumisa Nsebeza, S.
Please proceed, Dean.
During March 1963, at the age of 15 years, and while in Standard 8, now grade 10, he was arrested, detained, and convicted for participating in political activity opposed to the apartheid regime. Moseneke was sentenced in the Supreme Court, Pretoria, to 10 years imprisonment, all of which he served on Robben Island. While on Robben Island, Moseneke studied privately and matriculated with a university entrance pass. He enrolled with the University of South Africa, where he obtained a BA degree majoring in English and political science. Subsequently, Moseneke obtained a B.Juris degree and thereafter completed the LLB degree. All three degrees were conferred by the University of South Africa. Shortly after leaving Robben Island, his professional career started in 1976 as an attorney clerk at the Pretoria law firm, Dyer Sons, and subsequently at the law firm, Cragsbrand Incorporated. In 1978, Moseneke was admitted as an attorney and thereafter practiced in partnership at the law firm Maluleke, Seriti, and Moseneke. After practicing for 5 years as an attorney, in 1983, Moseneke was called to the bar, where he practiced as an advocate at the Johannesburg and Pretoria bars. During his practice at the Pretoria bar, he was elected to serve on the Bar Council. 10 years later, in 1993, he was elevated to the status of senior counsel. With the advent of constitutional negotiations in 1993, Moseneke was appointed to serve on the technical committee that drafted the 1994 interim constitution for a democratic South Africa. In 1994, Moseneke was appointed deputy chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission, which conducted the first democratic elections in South Africa. In September 1994, Moseneke was appointed to the High Court, Transvaal Provincial Division, as it was then known, as an acting judge, after which he returned to his practices as silk at the bar. From 1995 to 2001, Musenege left the bar to pursue a full-time corporate career in the several capacities in corporate positions. Musenege was elevated to the bench of the High Court Pretoria in 2001, and thereafter appointed to the Constitutional Court in 2002, and as a Deputy Chief Justice in 2005. Musenege has been keenly associated with tertiary education. In 1986, he was appointed visiting law professor at Columbia Law School, University of Columbia, New York. He served a term of 5 years as the first Chancellor of Pretoria Technikon, which is now known as the Tshwane University of Technology. He served as the Chancellor of the University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg, for 12 years. During autumn of 2011, he was a distinguished scholar and a visiting professor at the University of Maryland School of Law, USA. In 2012, Musenege was a visiting scholar at the University of Georgetown of Law, Washington, and in 2013, he was invited as a visiting scholar at the University of Zurich School of Law, Switzerland. After retirement, he lectured at Oxford University and at New York University Law School, and during 2020, at the School of Law at Duke University, USA. Musenege holds several honorary doctorates and is a recipient of numerous awards of honor, performance, and excellence at home and abroad. Musenege has been appointed extraordinary law professor at the University of Cape Town and the University of Western Cape, and honorary professor of bioethics at the School of Health Sciences, and honorary professor at the School of Law at University of Witwatersrand. During the past 40 years, Musenege has read numerous papers at law conferences, both at home and abroad, and is widely published in academic law journals, and has recently published his personal memo, My Own Liberator, and judicial memo, All Rights. Dikgang is married to Kabonina, and they have a daughter, 2 sons, and 6 grandchildren. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Laws on Dikgang Musenege in absentia.
I hereby confer the degree.
Chancellor, Advocate Dumisa Nsebeza, SC, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sakela.
Thank you very much to the deans and to the Vice Chancellor. You know, listening to the citations, you realize that some people live the lives of 2 or 3 people. You know, a life well lived. Really high caliber group of individuals who are accomplished not only nationally but internationally as well, who have the recognition of their peers in the things that they have done, and are highly productive, but most importantly, have served their country and the society well. And I think that's the most important thing. And now they hold that coveted University of Fort Hare honorary degree. Please, let's give them applause just one more time. Thank you very much. We're going to congratulate them and punctuate this moment by asking the University of Fort Hare Choir once again to give us a song, a rendition, and I'm going to again encourage you, if you want to join in and to dance, you know. Thank you very much. Thank you, Forte Choir. Vice Chancellor, you know there would have been chaos by now if the hall was packed. Yes. There would have been energy. But I think our PhDs are worried about as they come up, if they trip and fall. You know, no one wants that captured forever, so they're worried about that. Thank you very much, Forte Choir. We now move to the second special part of our program, where our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Sakela Buhlungu, will confer and award all the qualifications this morning. Over to you, VC.
We shall now, honor guests, proceed with the awarding of qualifications. I request the candidates to take up their positions. I shall then call upon the deans of faculties to present the candidates for the various qualifications.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Bubulu Tandiwe. Her thesis title is Teachers' Views of Pragmatic Strategies to Enhance Leadership Potential in Female Learners at Selected Primary Schools in Amatole East Education District. Let me repeat, Tandiwe is here now. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Bubulu Tandiwe. Her thesis title is Teachers' Views of Pragmatic Strategies to Enhance Leadership Potential in Female Leaders at Selected Primary Schools in Amatole East Education District.
I hereby confer the degree. Congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Butler Cynthia Desiree. Her thesis title is Strategies Employed by Teachers to Assist Grade 4 Learners Transition from Mother Tongue Instruction to English as a Medium of Instruction. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Butler Cynthia Desiree.
I hereby confer the degree.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Chikwakwa Miriam. Oh, sorry, another candidate came. Let me go to the right candidate. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Keba Noguzola. Her thesis title is School Governing Bodies Conceptualization of Ulwalugo in School-Based Policies Towards the Deconstructed Leadership and Management Framework. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, of Doctor of Education on Keba Noguzola.
I hereby confer the degree.
Congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Olawale Babawandi Emmanuel. Her thesis title is Democratic Citizenship in Mathematics Teachers Preparation in South African Universities. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Education on Olawale Babawandi Emmanuel.
I hereby confer the degree.
Congratulations.
Mr. Oh, sorry. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Olaumi Kayode Babatundi. His thesis title is Two Puzzle-Based Strategies as a Determinant of Students' Performance in Social Studies in Oyo State, Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Education on Olaumi Kayode Babatunde.
I hereby confer the degree.
Thank you, colleagues. There are some candidates who didn't make it. That is why I'm like waiting, but now seemingly they didn't make it to the graduation. Thank you.
I now wish to call upon the Dean of Management and Commerce to present candidates to the congregation.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present you Akinwale Olusola Makayode. His thesis title is Agricultural Entrepreneurship as a Strategy for Economic Empowerment. The case of small-scale farmers in the Eastern Cape province in South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Development Studies on Akinwale Olusola Makayode.
I hereby confer the degree. Congratulations. Well done.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Musasa Gabriel. His thesis title is Indigenization and Participatory Development in Zimbabwe, the Case of Indigenization and Empowerment. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Development Studies on Musasa Gabriel.
I hereby confer the degree.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Dave Richard. His thesis title is The Term Structure of Interest Rate and Expected Inflation in South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Economics on Dave Richard.
I hereby confer the degree.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Lawana Nozuko. Her thesis title is Effects of Non-Communicable Diseases on Labor Market Outcomes in South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Economics on Lawana Nozuko.
I hereby confer the degree.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Nkohla Tumi Vuyolethu. Her thesis title is The Role of Funding Composition on Efficiency in Public Universities in South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Economics on Nkohla Tumi Vuyolethu.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Gosh, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Kabuza Fundiswa. Her thesis title is The Role of Cooperatives in Local Economic Development in Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality, a Participatory Monitoring and Evaluation Approach. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Public Administration on Kabuza Fundiswa.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Kabuza, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Langa Vuyani Goodman. His thesis title is School Managers as Catalysts of Innovative Culture and Academic Performance, a case of selected schools in the Xofimvaba district in the Eastern Cape province. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Public Administration on Langa Vuyani Goodman.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Lang, congratulations.
I am now requesting the audience to stand as we listen and take note of the nursing pledge.
I solemnly pledge myself to the service of humanity and will endeavor to practice my profession with conscience and with dignity. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and the noble tradition of my profession. The total health of my patients will be my first consideration. I will hold in confidence all personal matters coming to my knowledge. I will not permit consideration of religion, nationality, race, or social standing to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Chituku Sibongile. Her thesis title is Usage of Traditional Medicines and Other Indigenous Practices by Childbearing Women During Pregnancy in Makoni District, Zimbabwe. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor in Nursing on Chituku Sibongile.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Chikut, this is it. Congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Dobe Precious. Her thesis title is Analyzing Writing Competence of Learners in Selected Secondary Schools in Zimbabwe. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Languages and Literature on Dobe Precious.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Duke, this is it. Congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Boy Voyani Kweke. His thesis title is Scholarly Utilization of Liberation Archives at the University of Fort Hare with a view to their transformative, emancipatory purpose. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Social Science in Library and Information Sciences on Boy Voyani Kweke.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Boy, well done. Congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Hove Charity. Her thesis title is Marketing Pentecostal Churches in Zimbabwe, a critical study of selected churches in Harare. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Social Science in Communication on Hove Charity.
I hereby confer the degree. Congratulations, Dr. Hoff. This is it.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Moffat Bettina. Her thesis title is An Analysis of Intellectual Property Awareness Among Researchers at the University of Fort Hare, Alice, South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Social Science in Communication on Moffat Bettina.
I hereby confer the degree. Congratulations, Dr. Moffat.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Monkasa Nkesi Abel. His thesis title is Sociocultural Factors Influencing the Interpretation of Public Health Communication of HIV and AIDS Messages in Selected Villages in Lesotho. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Social Science in Communication on Monkasa Nkesi Abel.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. McCarthy, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Masiwa George Bongi Kosi. His thesis title is An Appraisal of the East London Industrial Development Zone's Role in Local Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Industrial Development. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Social Science and Sociology on Masiwa George Bongi Kosi.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Masiwa, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Lasala Mahali Elizabeth. Her thesis title is Market Participation and Welfare of Smallholder Farmers in the Eastern Cape Province, South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Agricultural Economics on Lasala Mahali Elizabeth.
I hereby confer the degree. Congratulations, Dr. Mahali.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Busayo Emmanuel Tolulope. His thesis title is Coastal Urban Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction Assessment, the case of East London City, South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Geography on Busayo Emmanuel Tolulope.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Busai, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Bayaguni Temitope Love. Her thesis title is Sedimentology, Reservoir Properties, and Hydrocarbon Potential of the Southern Bredasdorp Basin, offshore of the Western Cape Province, South Africa. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Geography on Geology, on Bayaguni Temitope Love.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Bagun, congratulations.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Apia Isaac Kwadwo. His thesis title is The Classification of Fuzzy Subgroups of Some Finite Non-Cyclic Abelian P Groups of Rank 3 with emphasis on the number of distinct fuzzy subgroups. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics on Apia Isaac Kwadwo.
I hereby confer the degree. Dr. Apia, congratulations.
Thank you very much to our deans, and thank you to our graduates as well. Are you happy now? Finally, you know, it may have been you were a little bit nervous because you were not sure that you were actually going to receive the degree. But now that you have it, congratulations and well done. I hear a song outside, so I'm going to move quickly and ask that the Forte Choir helps us to congratulate our PhDs. You have reached a point that, you know, if you look at the number of PhDs per population, you are the cream of the crop. So I'm going to ask, therefore, that we celebrate with you and ask the Forte Choir to render an item, and that we really bid you many congratulations. Forte Choir.
So okay. Yeah, I can go to that.
Siya Thank you to the Forte Choir for that musical item. There's celebrations inside, there's celebrations outside, and our other graduates outside, they are also having a good time, I understand. We are now going to ask our Professor Renuka Vital, our Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Administration, to come forward and to make a few remarks. Prof.
Thank you, Program Director. It's my very special privilege to present the vote of thanks. And I would like to start by thanking this very special class of 2021 winter graduates. You have achieved success and graduated in the midst of a most difficult time of the COVID-19 challenges, which is very admirable. And this shows the extent of dedication that you have had from the undergrad or the postgrads, and especially the doctoral students. We salute you for this. You have completed your doctorate during a difficult period. I also would like to use this opportunity to thank all the people who support you and that support our students, the families and the support systems, and including all the funders. And then, of course, to thank all the faculties and departments who teach and supervise in producing our graduates. And today's ceremony especially marks a special appreciation to our 3 honorary doctoral recipients, authors Sindiwe Magona, Justice Mandisa Maya, and Justice Dikeng Mosineke. We are very proud to be associated with you. And then I would also like to thank the University's Council, a new council, as well as the Executive Management Committee and the extended management team for all their continued leadership to the students and to the university as a whole. And I would also take this opportunity to thank the outgoing SRC for their sterling leadership and welcome the newly elected SRC. This year, the SRC elections, which took place online for the first time. And then of the wonderful university choir, from year to year, they offer the excellent music in our graduation ceremonies. We greatly appreciate your contributions. And it's one of the items that make our graduation rather an outstanding feature that everyone looks forward to. And last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge the various departments in the university that make this graduation possible. The Registrar's Department, Institutional Advancement, all the ICT staff and technicians, properties and services, and all our suppliers. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this, our first hybrid graduation ceremony, and to the group of doctoral graduates that are here, congratulations and well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Professor Vithal for thanking us, for giving us a vote of thanks. So we are now at the end of our program. Just a quick announcement. We are asking that please, PhDs, will you remain behind? The registrar's office would like to take a group picture with you here on stage. So after we have done the procession, you will be allowed to do that. So what is going to happen now is that we are going to ask our technical team to help us play a clip from our Chancellor, Advocate Dumi Santabeza, dissolving the congregation. After that, we are going to rise, and the Forte Choir will lead us in the national anthem. When we have finished singing the national anthem, the Forte Choir will then sing another musical item, and the academics here at front will leave a process as we leave the stage. So may I ask our technical team to give us that audio to dissolve the congregation.
Under the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the University of Fort Hare, I now declare this congregation dissolved.
Thank you. National anthem from the Forte Choir, please. May we all rise. We will have, thank you. We will now have an item from the choir as the procession leaves the room.
Gaudiamus, Bana Selsi,